So, what if I told you thousands of people live in Japan completely undocumented? It's real. Today we're exploring what life is actually like as an illegal immigrant in Japan. No sugarcoating. Japan had roughly 66,000 overstayers in 2024. That's the official number. Reality is higher. How does it happen? Most people enter legally, tourist visa, student visa, work permit, then overstay. Fuhotaizai, illegal stay. Once your visa expires and you don't leave, you become invisible. Some arrive through brokers, pay thousands of dollars for fake job placements that vanish on arrival day. Technical intern training program, Jino Jishu Sei, designed for skill transfer, often exploited for cheap labor. Many trainees run away from abusive workplaces. They escape, but now they have no valid visa. And just like that, you're undocumented. No warning bells, no dramatic moment, just a date that passes. I want to understand this world, so let's walk through every aspect, step by careful step. First rule of being undocumented in Japan: don't exist, avoid attention, become a shadow in plain sight. No residence card, no health insurance, no bank account, no phone contract, nothing with your real name. Japan runs on documentation, Zaire Yukado, residence card. Without it, you're locked out of everything. Police can ask for your residence card anytime. It's legal. Article 23 of Immigration Control Act. Random ID checks happen. Train stations, streets, near embassies. Getting stopped means your whole life collapses instantly. Imagine that constant pressure. Every police officer, every uniform, every unexpected knock. Potential ending of everything. But people still do it, because whatever they left behind was worse. Desperation rewrites your risk calculations. Deep breath. Let's see what daily survival actually looks like when you're invisible in Japan's system. Housing first. You can't rent an apartment normally. No guarantor, no residence card, no lease agreement. Options. Share rooms in cash-only arrangements. Old apartments run by sympathetic landlords who don't ask questions. Guest house culture helps. Weekly mansions and shared houses sometimes accept cash without documentation. Sometimes. 5 people in a 2-room apartment. Mattresses rotated by shift schedule. You sleep when others work. Rent paid in cash envelopes. No receipts, no contracts. If the landlord kicks you out, gone. Address registration? Impossible. Jumin Hyo requires legal status. Without it, you basically don't exist. Food. Convenience stores become your kitchen. Lawson, 7-Eleven, Family Mart, cheap bento, onigiri, hot soup. Some undocumented workers find ethnic shops. Filipino in Takadanobaba, Chinese in Ikebukuro. Small comforts. Money. Cash jobs. NICU. Daily wages. Construction, night shifts, restaurant kitchens. Cash only. Day laborer districts like Sanya in Tokyo. Men line up before dawn. Vans arrive. You climb in. Wages. 8 to 12,000 yen daily. Below minimum wage often. But you can't complain to anyone. No employment protections. If you're injured on the job, you can't go to the hospital officially. Your boss knows your status. That power imbalance is terrifying. They can underpay, overwork, or threaten you. Women face additional risks. Exploitation in nightlife districts. Some end up in situations they never imagined. Communication. Prepaid SIM cards bought with cash. Burner phones. Line messages that can be deleted quickly. Social life? Almost none. You avoid Japanese people, cameras, and anything official. Loneliness is the constant companion. You're surrounded by millions of people but connected to almost nobody. This isn't freedom. This is survival with a countdown timer you can't see but always feel. Japan's immigration enforcement is quiet but thorough. Nukoku Kanrikyoku, always watching. Tip-offs. Anyone can report you. neighbors, coworkers, even through online forms. Tsuho, reporting suspected illegal residents, often anonymously. Immigration raids happen: factories, construction sites, entertainment districts, officers check cards, people disappear. If caught, shuyo, immigration detention. You're placed in a detention center, not prison, but feels identical. Detention centers like Ushiku and Nagoya, concrete walls, no timeline for release, limited legal access inside. Average detention length? Uncertain. Some people spend months. Others have spent years waiting for deportation. Karihuman, provisional release. You can be released while awaiting deportation, but you can't work legally. Provisional release means freedom with no income, no insurance, no stability. A different kind of prison. Deportation is called taikyo kyosei, forced removal. You're put on a plane and banned from re-entry. Re-entry ban, 5 years minimum if you departed voluntarily. If deported, 10 years, sometimes permanent ban. Shupkoku meirei, departure order. Japan prefers you leave voluntarily. The ban is shorter that way. But here's the catch. Many can't go home. War, persecution, poverty. Returning means danger, so they stay. Nanmin Shinsei, refugee application. Japan accepts very few refugees. Approval rate under 1%. In 2023, Japan recognized 303 refugees out of over 10,000 applications. Some apply for refugee status specifically to get work permission during processing. The system knows this. Recent reforms tightened rules. Third-time refugee applicants can now be deported while their case is pending. The system is designed to make staying impossible and leaving inevitable. That's the architecture of control. What happens when you get sick? No health insurance, no kenko hoken. A hospital visit could expose you. Free clinics exist. NGOs like SHARE and MF-MASH provide medical care, volunteer doctors who don't check status. But these clinics are rare and overwhelmed. For serious conditions, you suffer in silence or risk everything. Dental problems, eye issues, chronic conditions, untreated. Pain becomes your normal. You learn to endure silently. Pregnancy. Undocumented women face hard choices. No prenatal care, no easy hospital birth or birth certificate. Some NGOs help with emergency childbirth, but the baby's status becomes immediately complicated from day one. A child born in Japan to undocumented parents doesn't get citizenship automatically. Japan uses jus sanguinis. Jus sanguinis, right of blood. Citizenship through parents, not birthplace. Born here doesn't mean belonging here. These children live in limbo, sometimes stateless. Mukokuseki, born invisible in a structured society. Education, however, is possible. Japanese law says every child can attend public school regardless of status. Schools don't report immigration status. It's one area where Japan shows compassion. Children can study safely there. But imagine being 7, having friends, speaking Japanese, and knowing your family could vanish any day. Mental health? Devastating. Constant fear, isolation, shame, no access to counseling or therapy of any kind. PTSD is common among overstayers: anxiety, paranoia, depression, invisible wounds on invisible lives. Many turn to alcohol, some to worse. Coping mechanisms in the absence of any real support system. Families get separated. A parent deported, children stay with relatives, or both deported to unfamiliar home countries. The human cost isn't in statistics, it's in faces, stories, and quiet tragedies happening right now today. Japan's clean streets and orderly society have a hidden layer of suffering that very few ever see. Let me tell you about real situations. Names changed, but these patterns are documented by researchers extensively. A Filipino woman overstayed after training, married informally, had 2 children, lived 12 years undocumented. She worked at a laundry, cash daily. Her children spoke perfect Japanese. They had friends. a whole life. One day, immigration knocked. She was detained. Her children faced deportation to a country they barely knew. The Calderon case, 2009. Noriko Calderon, 13, born in Japan. Parents, Filipino, undocumented. Japan deported her parents, but allowed Noriko to stay. A child left alone. The nation debated deeply. The case changed awareness, not policy. People saw undocumented families as human. Shadow networks exist. Filipino, Vietnamese, Chinese, Brazilian communities quietly support each other. Churches become sanctuaries, services in Tagalog, Portuguese, Vietnamese. They're not just religious spaces, but community support and information hubs. Kodomo Shakudo, small community kitchens feeding children, sometimes undocumented families too. Volunteer lawyers, bengoshi, sometimes take deportation cases pro bono for people without legal support. These cases can take years, leaving people stuck in legal limbo on top of immigration limbo. Some overstayers have lived in Japan for 20 or 30 years, spending most of their adult lives hiding. Many speak fluent Japanese, pay taxes on daily purchases, and contribute, yet remain unrecognized. The Zainichi experience is different but related. Korean residents also navigate complex identity questions. Japan's relationship with foreign residents is shaped by long isolation and recent globalization. Tabunka Kyosei, multicultural coexistence, is promoted publicly, but reality can feel different. Some cities are more supportive. Shinjuku and Hamamatsu offer multilingual services and integration programs. But sympathy from local communities is not the same as real legal protection under national immigration law. In 2023, a controversial immigration reform bill sparked protests across Japan. In 2021, a Sri Lankan woman named Wishma Sundamali died inside a detention facility in Nagoya, shocking the country. Her death forced some reforms in detention monitoring and medical access, though activists argue the changes remain insufficient. Every few months, another detention story surfaces, reminding the public how easily a life can become just paperwork. Compared with many developed nations, Japan still ranks low in refugee acceptance and immigrant integration. Yet change may slowly be coming as younger Japanese generations increasingly push for a more open and inclusive society. So what are the actual exits? How does someone move from undocumented status to legal life again? Option 1, Shupkoku Mirei, departure order. Turn yourself in, leave voluntarily, face a 1-year re-entry ban. This is Japan's preferred solution. You admit overstay, they process you out. Shortest ban possible, most dignified exit. Option 2, special permission to stay. Zairyu Tokubetsu Kyoka, rare, usually with Japanese family ties. Having a Japanese spouse or Japanese citizen child improves your chances. Family ties can be your legal lifeline. Option 3, refugee recognition. If you can prove persecution in your home country. Documentation is critical here. Hogo, protection status granted even without refugee status, introduced in 2023. Option 4, amnesty periods. Japan has done mass amnesty in the past. 2004 saw a forgiveness campaign. But amnesties are unpredictable. You can't plan your life around a maybe. Hope isn't a strategy. Embassy assistance. Your own country's embassy might help with emergency documents, travel papers, or repatriation support. Some embassies actively search for their citizens. Others are underfunded and overwhelmed. It depends on your nationality. NGO support networks like APF and Solidarity Network with Migrants Japan offer legal help without judgment. These groups are run by underpaid, overworked people fighting for human dignity. Information is survival. Knowing your rights, even as an undocumented person, matters enormously in Japan's legal framework. You have the right to a lawyer. You have the right to contest deportation. You have basic human protections. Jinkin, human rights. Japan's constitution protects all people on its soil, not just citizens. Article 13 of Japan's constitution, right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, universally applied. But constitutional rights and lived reality are very different things. The gap between paper and practice is enormous. Some people successfully regularize, get proper visas, find legal work, start over. It happens, rarely, but really. The move from shadow to sunlight takes years, paperwork, hearings, and endless waiting. But when the residence card finally arrives, everything changes. You officially exist. Being undocumented in Japan isn't a crime story. It's a human story happening inside a perfect system. Japan's order and beauty have a cost. That cost is sometimes paid by the most vulnerable people. 66,000 overstayers isn't a number. It's 66,000 individual lives with fears and dreams and hopes. The system isn't evil, but it's rigid, and rigidity without mercy creates lasting suffering. Children born in limbo, workers exploited in shadows, families torn apart by paperwork and bureaucratic deadlines forever. I learned that compassion exists here too, in volunteer clinics, church basements, and free children's cafeterias everywhere. Japan's people are often kinder than Japan's policies. Individual kindness fills cracks that institutions refuse to see. Immigration reform isn't just politics. It's about whether a society sees every person within its borders. Tabunka Kyosei, multicultural coexistence. It can't just be a slogan. It needs to be lived. If you're watching this and you're undocumented, you're not invisible to everyone. People see you. I see you. Know your rights. Contact NGOs. Don't face this alone. There are people who will fight for you. Japan is changing. Slowly, the conversation is opening. Young voices are demanding a more compassionate future now. Every society is judged by how it treats its most vulnerable members. That's not politics. That's humanity. The pink-haired girl learned something heavy today, that beauty and order can coexist with hidden suffering. So, what would you do if you were invisible in the most organized country on Earth? Think about it.
Hello. In Japan, tens of thousands of people live without documents. They have no rights or health care, work for cash, and live with the risk of deportation. The system is very strict, so survival often depends more on people's help than on the law. From what my friends have told me, this is often the reality.